Good morning, everyone. It's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball, TGIF. Okay, it's Friday. It's Friday, and that means that there are sneak peeks. And sneak peeks have dripped out from TLC related to Ed and Rose's story. Now, we all know what's going on social media. Social media last week, Rose called out Ed and basically was like, stop embarrassing me, stop doing this. Like, you were in this for money, you were in this for fame, you were never really interested in me. And that followed, her reaction followed a clip of him basically talking to her about her breath, okay? Now, this season, he has not been very forthcoming. There's a number of things that, he's spent the bulk of his time talking about, is Rose really trying to come here? Am I her meal ticket? But he hasn't been very truthful about, a lot of things. For instance, he showed up in the Philippines and he lied to her about his height. He said he was 3 inches taller than he actually is. He was not forthcoming about the fact that he did not want to have children, and he waited for a very long time to tell her that. He's also criticized her and asked her to shave her legs, talked about her breath, made her get a test for you take when you are hokey poking with a lot of people. It might catch the ants that you get from doing that kind of stuff. Those things. Okay. Well, this week he's finally gonna spill it. Okay. So in the sneak peek, he and Rose are sitting down at the pool and they're talking about, everything that had happened the night before when he confronted her about everything related to her sister's store. So he says that Maria asked him for money for her store, and when he confronted Rose about it, Rose said that she had no idea, she didn't know anything about it, and that her sister was had left her in the dark, left her completely in the dark. So, what does that mean? Well, it means that he said, okay, I trust you, because Rose said, I know nothing about that. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't want you for your money. I love you. I want to have children with you. So she tells him that she's in this for the right reasons. She wants him to be the father to Prince, and she'd like to have some more kids with him, and that she's with him because she loves him. And then he's all, ooh, I got to think about this. Ooh, crap. I didn't tell her about the fact that I wanted to have a snip before I actually came here. Yep, that's right. Remember in the very first episode, he was talking to his friends about how, he's in his 50s. He's already raised his daughter, who's 29 years old, who's actually 6 years older than Rose. And he's done. He's done that. He's done the time. He doesn't want more kids. Well, I guess the next morning they go to the pool and they're swimming and they're having so much fun. And he's like, yeah, so Rose, remember that time when we were talking about, our next steps and, how you want to have some kids? Well, here's the thing, Rose, I don't want them. And then he proceeds to tell her about how before he actually flew to the Philippines to meet her, he had made a couple appointments to get the snip. And she doesn't really understand what he's talking about. He uses the very large word that you would use if you were going to be in a clinic, the word that you would schedule with the doctors. But then when she doesn't know the V word, he's like, well, snip, snip. The proverbial language of, I can't have more kids. So when she understands that, she's sort of dumbfounded and shocked. And she was just like, why didn't you tell me this before if you knew you didn't want to have kids? To which I say, Rose, touche, right? That's a really big thing. You flew all that way, Ed, knowing that she wants kids and you don't, knowing that she wanted a family because she's very young still, and you lied about your height, but you lied about one of the most important things and a massive deal breaker for any relationship. And the fact that you withheld that information tells me that you were in this more for the booty than you were actually for the commitment, my opinion. So she is kind of stunned, and she was just like, well, why didn't you tell me this? And she was like, well, maybe you will change your mind. And he was just like, nope, I'm not going to change my mind. I absolutely do not want any more kids. I'm completely done with this. I already raised my daughter. He's like, I don't have a lot of money. I have enough money for you, me, and Prince, and I can give you and Prince a very nice life, but I don't want any more children. And then Rose is sort of sits there and she just looks like heartbroken, like sort of like, really? Why didn't you tell me this, Ed? Ed, seriously, why'd you do this to me? So that's where the first aspect cuts out, okay? And that was in the 45-minute sneak peek, which is on the TLC website. So if you want to get a sneak peek of each of the couple's stories coming up, check out the TLC app. But then TLC released a sneak peek this morning, and it has more info. And Ed actually wakes up the next morning, and Rose is gone. So at the pool, she told him that she was going to have to think about this because this was a really big deal to her. She wants kids, 2 more children, to be honest. She wants to give her son Prince some siblings. She wants to have a family. And he wakes up and she's gone. And he's like opening up the blinds and all of her stuff and her belongings are not there. He says that she's not answering her phone. She's nowhere near at all anywhere in the hotel. And this is the weird part is like if she did leave, she would have had to take a plane. So where did she go? Is this just buildup and they're going to have her come back, or did she really take off? Well, the sneak peek makes it seem as though she completely left and she took off because of the kids factor. If this is true, I'd say go Rose. You stood up for what you wanted and that was the final straw. It wasn't the final straw when he wanted you to shave your legs. It wasn't the final straw when he wanted you to take the test. It wasn't the final straw when he insulted your breath. It wasn't the final straw when, he accused you of conspiring with your sister to get money for her shop. It was the not wanting kids. And so he is actually sitting down having coffee and he said, for the longest time, I always thought it was me that was concerned about moving forward with her. And now it's almost like it's her considering moving forward with me. To which I say, BS. You held this in your pocket the whole time. And you knew if you would have told her that you would have had no power. But the fact that you held that over her head, making her think that there was even a chance, means that you are a manipulative egomaniac that did this to her. Like, that's hurtful. He did this to me. That feels like a power play. A power play. Why wouldn't you be honest with something about that? You wouldn't be honest with it because you knew if you told her, it would be over. So instead, you made viewers think that it was all about you and how she was doing all these things to you, and she was scamming you when you're the one that's actually scamming her the whole time. Or hell, maybe you guys scammed each other. Who knows? But at this point, I don't get it, you guys. The whole media, like all these celebrities are absolutely obsessed with Ed. I am not. If you follow this guy on Instagram, he is like, he's a creep. And he is like, he has taken his fame to a level I've not seen. Like, all these people are like wanting to go live with him. All of these celebs who are obsessed with the show want a piece of Ed. He's getting a merch line. He's charging a massive amount of money for his cameos now. It's like, are people just watching him because of the sideshow that he's created, or is it because they actually like him? Because I don't find a whole lot of redeeming qualities in him at all. Like, he's constantly going live with kids. It's weird. He gives me creepy vibes. Not to mention there's that whole lady on TikTok claiming that he did things to her and she has an NDA and can't talk about it, and he hasn't addressed that. And the fact that he hasn't addressed it makes me wonder, is there truth to this? Because I feel like if it were a lie, he would say, no, this isn't even true, but he hasn't said a word. So, Ed, you have spent your time pretending like you are the one that holds the cards. In reality, you never held the cards. You withheld this information to have power and control. You utilized your age, experience, and maturity in order to use a young girl to get what you wanted. And maybe what you wanted was an extremely expensive piece of you know what. And that's tacky. Not to mention, like, what does he have in common with this young girl? Nothing. Rose has been posting all kinds of cute TikToks, and it's clear that she has someone in her life if you go to her Instagram, and it is not Ed. There appears to be a young man, the one that she posted photos with kissing on her Facebook and Instagram a few weeks ago, but then quickly deleted. There's someone else in her life, and it's not Ed. And Ed claims he's happy, and it's not with Rose. But, obviously we won't, well, he's happy, but he won't say that it's not with Rose. But Rose was, with her photos, been pretty clear that she is not with Ed. So it sounds like it was the kids that put this over the edge. Tell me your thoughts. What do you think about Ed being a complete dill hole and not telling her ahead of time? And do you think it was a power play that he did this in order to hold the cards? Or do you think he was just scared because he knew she wouldn't want him? And do you believe that some fans are saying that he went there only for an expensive piece of cutie patootie? Tell me in the comments below. Bye, guys.